Senator Bernie Sanders voted against Tom Vilsak to head the Department of Agriculture, saying, quote, "I think we need somebody a little more vigorous in terms of protecting family farms and taking on corporate agriculture." 6 Republicans, plus Bernie, opposed Vilsack, who ran that agency under the Obama administration for all 8 years. Host of the new YouTube show, The Takeover with Justin Jackson, running back for the LA Chargers, and activist Justin Jackson joins us now to talk about this and all the things. It's great to see you, Justin.
Good to see you again, Crystal.
All right, so first things first, tell people about the new channel and what you're up to, because it's very exciting.
Yes, so I started my own YouTube channel. It's called The Takeover. I'm very excited about it. It's been fun doing it so far. Basically, what I want to do with the channel is, I think right now is a perfect time for us to build, our coalition. Obviously, kind of after the Bernie candidacy ended, I think we had a little bit of a lull there. So I'm trying to build that coalition back up, kind of do it in a digestible way for normal people who maybe don't follow politics, but are really close, they're right there to actually joining us. So that's what I want to do with the channel, kind of outline what's going on in the world nowadays in U.S. politics, and also kind of put up stuff like New York public power and show people what Proposition 22 did here in California, more local things that I think might have ramifications on a more national level as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge story. And Justin, one of the things you and I have talked about before that makes you kind of unique in this left media ecosystem space is, a lot of folks who are doing this content, they're, mostly surrounded by people who kind of share the same views. A lot of times the pitch is aimed at people who already are basically on the same page with them. They're just providing other education. That's an important service as well. But one of the things that makes you unique is you're on a daily basis in touch with people who have wildly different ideologies, or who are just like normal people and not all that interested in politics. And so it seems to me that that's kind of your core mission here, is to be able to broaden the coalition, appeal to people who aren't necessarily starting out on the same page with where we are.
Yeah, 100%. Being in football locker rooms my whole life, especially when I got to college, I immediately was thrown in the ring with people from Texas, Florida, California, New York, like all over the country, right? Wildly different views, just, growing up in different backgrounds. And so I think that was kind of where I first learned to be able to, I first met these guys and became brothers with them before I knew anything politically about them. And so that kind of laid a good foundation for us to actually speak and not just yell at each other and call each other names, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like I have a, good background of talking to people who aren't necessarily politically inclined, or could be, conservative just because their parents were, kind of how I was liberal just because my parents were. And like I said earlier, build that coalition and bridge those gaps.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about a few issues. We led in here with Bernie stepped up and opposed Tom Vilsak, who was Ag Secretary under Obama for all 8 years during a time when family farms were absolutely decimated. And this is the guy that they want to put right back in that position, has major ties to big ag. What did you make of Bernie being willing to go out on a limb and vote against this nominee?
I mean, I think it's obviously the right move. If he's going to vote against him, I don't know why he can't vote against Nera Tanden. But I mean, of course, like you said, this guy was really bad for family farms, especially Black and minority-owned farms. During his tenure, I think it was 7% of microloans went to Black farmers, and less than 0.2% of USDA $5.7 billion loans in 2015 went to Black farmers. So obviously he's a pretty reviled character within the Black farming community. This actually harkens us back to that leaked civil rights call that Biden had, or leaked audio call that Biden had with civil rights leaders back in December, where this was something that was brought up multiple times. These Black leaders, especially with the Georgia Senate vote coming up the next month, were saying this is someone that Black, farmers and Black rural folks do not want. And of course, Biden still picked him regardless. He also, this is the return to normalcy that Biden was talking about. He also was the head of that department under the Obama administration when they falsely distorted data to make it look like there was some type of Black renaissance under Vilsack within farming. So like I said, wildly reviled individual. Of course, he passed with flying colors in the Senate confirmation. Like you said, only Bernie being the only one to vote against him. So pretty upsetting. But when you don't get any commitments for your vote and you just blindly go out there and vote for Biden without pressuring him into actually giving you something, this is what you get.
And then what do you make of this whole situation with Nera Tanden? Because the thing about it that has so confused me is the number of progressives who have come out to go to bat for Nera Tanden, right? She has done more damage to the Bernie left. I mean, she's one of the most nefarious actors. And put the mean tweets aside. I don't even really care about that. First of all, there's the corruption issue. Second of all, this is someone who made it her mission to destroy the Bernie wing of the party. Yeah. And now you have people who, consider themselves part of that movement. You got to vote for Nera. She's amazing.
Yeah, that's very upsetting. Under no circumstances should you ever vote for Nera Tanden. And the funny thing that people are saying is, well, if Nera doesn't get in there, then someone worse than Nera will get in there. Someone worse than Nera Tanden? I can't find someone. I mean, she obviously the biggest story, like you said, it's not about her tweets. Of course, her tweets are horrible, and she's a menace online to pretty much anyone who doesn't agree with her. But beyond that, it's really about policy, right? She was exposed for wanting to go to Libya, steal their oil to pay for our deficits back home, as if it's one or the other. Like we can't pay for programs like Head Start, programs like Medicaid, unless we go over to Libya and steal their oil to pay for it. I mean, that's just it's horrifying. I mean, she busted the union of Think Progress, which was the journalistic arm of Center for American Progress. She did that. She said Bernie was popular because Russia backed him. She's taken massive amounts of foreign government money from places like Saudi Arabia, UAE, corporate money like Facebook, Google. She pushed for Social Security and Medicare cuts. I mean, do I need to go on and on about this? She's not a good figure. She's someone horrible, should never be in a position of power. Of course, Biden puts her up for this. I mean, it's not a super consequential position. So why push someone so divisive like this? The unity candidate, right, is pushing someone so divisive like this. As you see, the Republicans don't even like her. So I'm really hoping, even if it's Joe Manchin, that she doesn't get in there because she, I guess, burned too many bridges.
And what do you make of the sort of unified defense that came out, which was like, oh, well, if you have a problem with Nera Tanden, it must be because you're sexist or because you're racist.
Right. I mean, that's right off of the 2016 playbook, right? They were calling people sexists who ended up voting for Jill Stein, which of course doesn't make any sense. But this is what they do. This is their playbook. It has nothing to do with the fact that she would be the first, I think it's Asian American woman to head this department. It has nothing to do with that. I would love to see an Asian American woman head this department. Just like you see Debbie Haaland, who's going to be heading be the Secretary of the Interior. Great, she's progressive. We agree on a lot of things, so I will push for her. But I really don't care what you look like. If you're pushing for those things, you're pushing for things that are going to hurt people that look like you, then you aren't the right pick for that position.
Justin, congrats again. Everybody go over and sub The Takeover with Justin Jackson on YouTube. So great to see you, my friend. Be well.
Thanks, Crystal. Take care.
A lot more rising for you after this.